Hello and welcome to this up close interview. We are here with John Hood. He is the Okemos Superintendent. You started in January.
January 1st, yep.
Thank you so much for joining me on this program.
It's my pleasure.
I'm so glad to have you here. And you're kind of on the heels of this national niche ranking that came out. So what better time to do an interview than that?
Yeah, wonderful.
Okemos was ranked number 2 in the state by 2019 Niches rankings, number 107 across the country.
Yeah.
You became the superintendent in January, but you've been with the Okemos Public School District for quite a while.
Since I started as a teacher intern, so it's 24 years.
24 years.
Yeah.
So I've been with the township for 20.
Yep.
So you've been with the school district for longer.
Yep.
How has your position transitioned and changed over time since you started 24 years ago?
Yeah, so I started as a teacher intern. I was fortunate enough to be placed by Michigan State to do my, student teaching, as they call it, in Okemos, and I was placed at Chippewa Middle School and really fell in love with the community. I'm not from Michigan. I'm from upstate New York originally.
Okay.
Came to MSU to get my degree. Decided to go in teaching. My mom's a retired teacher now. And when I got placed there, I knew this was a place I could spend my entire career. The community, the teaching staff, the kids, also welcoming and supportive of what we're doing in public ed, and it's a wonderful place to work.
Now, do you have kids of your own?
I do.
Okay, and have they gone through the Okemos school system or elsewhere? Or?
We live in Hazlitt.
Okay.
Yeah, we live in Hazlitt, so
Well,
they're in the Hazlitt system.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And so are they in Hazlitt Public Schools right now?
They are, yeah.
All right. So we'll have an interview with Hazlitt as well for their rankings. So we won't steal. It's Steve Cook, correct?
Yes, it is.
We won't steal his thunder.
And they ranked very well as well.
They ranked very well. They ranked 17th in the state.
They did.
And so we will talk. So they're going to an excellent education system as well.
Yes, they are.
So my experience with Okemos and teachers, since my boys went through the public school system, is a very positive one. We have a few teachers who weren't our favorites, but when you have kids, 2 kids that go through a ton of teachers through the school system, that's kind of expected. But 98%, 99%, we're just absolutely in love with. And I don't think my boys ever had one teacher who didn't try to help them, who didn't reach out to me, who didn't spend extra time with the kids. Is there some sort of magical selection process that Okemos public school system goes through to find these teachers who, and I don't want to sound biased because I live in Okemos or anything, but that's the experience I've had, and I hear from most parents. Is there some kind of magical interview process they go through?
I would say it's more about the culture that's been created in Okemos, the culture of expectation created by our parents and community, and by teachers and administrators, and our students, really, that we know every kid is different. We know their needs. The needs of one student may be very different than the needs of the other. We know parents are sending us the best, they're sending us their babies. They want the future, all the doors open for their kids that can be opened, and we take that very seriously. So when we say we try to work to meet the needs of all kids, we really try to work to meet the needs of all kids. And we have a saying, all kids are our kids. It's not just a kid in my class that belongs to me as a teacher, but it's our collective responsibility. Parents, teachers, administrators, students, other staff members. It's our collective responsibility to help do what's right for that kid and help them find success.
How does the superintendent's office work with the different public school systems to help the students meet success and have success?
So I think the culture of a district certainly starts at the ground level, but is also influenced from the top down. So it's kind of culture of the district's formed by all of us together. Our mission statement in Okemos is together, educating with excellence and inspiring learners for life. And it's really unique to have the word to start your school mission statement be together. And I think that really sends the message about that, I'm not here to compete with other districts. I'm not here to, blame parents when something goes wrong or blame a student when they're struggling. It's all part of continual learning and growth for the students, for the parents, for the staff, for me, so we can be better yesterday than we are today. Yeah.
And so when you hear, I'm just going to go through a couple of these other rankings.
Yeah.
So in the state of Michigan, so you were number 2 in Michigan for overall public school system, number 58 for student athletes,
Yeah.
number 64 for safety, number 68 for diversity, number 12 for best teachers. And so I hear you say, you don't compete against the other schools and stuff like that. And these rankings have come out. When you hear these rankings, or maybe you do your own self-assessment and ranking, and you see numbers like this, how do you meet with, or do you meet with teachers and administrators to say, where can we improve on this?
I mean, those are certainly a point of pride for us, and niche is one metric.
Yep.
And it's certainly what we like about niche is they look at more than just academic outcomes. They look at student extracurriculars, they look at the experiences of our teachers, they look at our demographics. So they look at really the whole experience in the community for the schools. So when you're ranked number 2, when they're looking at that makes us feel really good. That's not just a ranking of the teachers or the administration, that's really a outcome of just collectively who we are. We've been, top 5, top 10 over the past years.
Yeah.
In niche, I think 2 is the highest we've been. But when they break it down in those other metrics too, we do score quite well. But again, our philosophy is we've never arrived. Our goal is to be better tomorrow than we were today. And that drives us. We drive each other. Just like we want great outcomes for our kids, we want great outcomes as professional educators, educating the public. Any kid that comes to Okemos, we're going to do our best to give them the highest quality education that we can. And we take that very seriously, despite the different needs and strengths of all of those students.
So I'm super competitive.
Yes.
And when it came out, A,
Yeah.
super, proud.
Proud, yeah.
But B, I said, how are we going to beat that number 1?
Yeah.
That number 1 school where I'm not going to name them.
Yeah.
But I did think that. We won't ask you if you thought that or not. But I know that you and the school system is always looking to improve each day.
Yeah, we are. And it's what we would expect out of our students and our staff. So we expect it out of ourselves, and it's the expectation from our community. And it's not just the expectation, but there's support there to make it happen. So it's really, our teachers and administrators work together. There's not the us versus them mentality. Like, we're in it together. Our parents are problem solvers with us. If we're struggling meeting a need, they'll come in and volunteer or help provide a resource or give us some ideas. So it's really the best in public ed is that togetherness. So we feel support from each other. Doesn't mean we always agree. There's hard conversations that we have, but the one thing we do agree on is we want all kids to be happy, want them to feel safe, want them to be successful in whatever they want to do in the future.
I went to a different high school. I didn't go to Okemos High School. I went to a different high school. And I often felt blamed or judged and not really embraced if I had issues, or I didn't feel like teachers or administration tried to see me. I don't think I had that same feeling as a parent I didn't at all have that feeling as a parent with my kids. Anytime they were going through something, if I went to the school was there to help them out. The teachers always embracing. What did you learn? Dr. Ash was there for a while.
Yes.
I'm sure she embraced you and the baton, and I know Elena Zachary Ross was there. She was there for a year.
She was.
And then Dr. Ash came back interim until they found you.
Yeah.
Right there. What words of wisdom did she give you, or what did she pass on to you, if anything?
Well, I think Dr. Ash has been incredibly supportive of me personally and professionally. She knows me. She's known me for, 2 decades plus, so she knows how my personal strengths and weaknesses as well as my professional. And that relational trust that we have to help move me forward in my own learning so I can help move the district forward is a very special thing, especially with a boss. Someone you want to impress, but someone who is also evaluating you and your performance. But it goes beyond just Dr. Ash in that we all mentor each other. That's what drew me to the district as an intern was, these veteran teachers took me under their wing and taught me how to be a good teacher. And when I wasn't, they let me know. When I was dealing with some health issues, they were there to help support me with my health issues outside of school, help me write lesson plans and be successful. So there's this real cohesiveness that we are all in this together and we're all going to help each other be successful. And there's a level of expectation of excellence that comes with that is so foundational to the culture that really drives us to be successful in our professional lives and in our personal lives.
Did you ever see yourself in this position?
I certainly had aspirations. I love being a teacher, and when people still ask me, I still am a teacher. It's just a bigger classroom.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful to be in a position to help teach those that are teaching others so I can have a wider impact. So I try to get into the schools as much as I can and still connect with kids and staff. But I do spend a lot of my time with administration now helping them because we are all teachers and we're here, they say to teach is to learn twice. And I think that notion is true throughout Okemos too, where we're not only teaching the kids, but they're teaching us as well.
And you have to be a role model. How many students does Okemos have right now?
We have about 5,600, yeah.
5,600?
Yeah.
Okay. And so there's around 1,400 at the
high
school or
yeah.
something like that. Do you know how many, this could be a hard question,
Yeah.
do you know how many student athletes you have?
I don't offhand know how many student athletes we have, but I do know Mr. Childress has done a wonderful job in promoting student athlete. So looking at students and making sure that they're valuing their education and that they understand what it means to be role models themselves in the school and community, because we got kids that look up to them from elementary school on, and they do represent their families, they represent our community when they're on the court, and he's done a wonderful job.
He's amazing.
He's done a wonderful job helping.
And I really don't like him right now for leaving us.
Yeah, me neither. Helping them be successful and helping the spotlight find them so they can show what they know on and off the court.
That's going to be tough to replace him.
Yeah, we're starting that process now. He's going to be hard to replace. We certainly wish him the best, and he's done a remarkable job kind of moving our vision for student athletes forward and also community partnerships and upgrading our facilities. He'll have a lasting impact for years to come.
How hard is it on these kids to balance? They have, they're high achievers.
Yeah.
They have sports, they have homework, some of them have jobs.
Yes.
They have band, choir, orchestra, chess, other things that does the school district work with them on balancing all of that?
We are, and we're starting to work more and more on that. Not only developing students that are, actively involved in those activities, but students that can set appropriate limits, develop healthy self-concept and healthy relationships, have healthy mental awareness as well. So I will be working with our counselors and our social workers as one of my superintendent goals to really look at the social emotional health of our students and staff. There's a lot of pressure on kids to achieve.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pressure on kids to be the best they can be. And that can be a good thing, but also giving them the skills they need to be able to cope and manage stress is equally as important of a life skill to make sure that we're teaching kids. Because we want healthy, happy, productive kids, not just productive kids.
Well, you have a lot of assemblies for the students, for mentorship type assemblies, for motivational inspirational
Yeah.
types of things, and extracurricular activities that relate to those
We do.
types of things as well.
Yeah, and our students are heavily involved in planning those. So their voice is heard, and we're reacting or being proactive because of their voice in helping meet the needs that they're bringing to us too, which I think our high school administration, I mean, all of our administration, our principals do a great job in valuing that student voice. Because sometimes adults try to solve student problems
Yeah.
when we need the students' voice to help inform us.
It's good to help them
Yeah.
walk through it and try
Exactly.
to solve it
And
themselves.
they need our help and our guidance and our scaffolding, but sometimes we try to solve it without them when they're much better at finding the solutions.
What's your graduation rate?
It's over 95%.
Over
It's-
95%.
Yeah.
And you have a high percentage of students who take AP courses?
We do. I couldn't tell you the exact percentage, but a very high percentage.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then do you know what percentage goes to college after they graduate?
have to
It
look
has to
that
be
up.
high
Yeah.
if you're number
Yeah.
2 ranking.
Well, and it is high, but we want, and we have students that go to Ivy League schools that really put together impressive resume in Okemos, not just with their academic record, but in all the activities
Yeah.
and their leadership roles and being student athletes and drama and music and the arts. We value all of those things, but we also want to value our students that are going to the Career Center or going into vocational schools, going into the trades. We know we need all sorts of workers in our society.
Yep.
Can lead happy, productive lives. So we want to make sure when we stress college and career ready, that we're stressing college and career ready. Because some of our students are ready to go be productive members of society and get trained in a vocation and make a great living that way. And that is also valued in our community.
Do you see the school system changing over time where they're transitioning from high school to college and the types of preparatory classes that are taught in high school?
Certainly the rigor over time in my 23 years, the rigor of what we're teaching kids pre-K to 12 has been greatly increased. And that's due to a combination of things. Certainly we're accountable for state standards on standardized testing. But there's also the expectation that we're going to do our best to prepare kids for life in the real world. And as you know, things are very different out there than they were 20 years ago. So we got to make sure our game is
We may not need to teach them how to write
Yeah.
a check anymore.
is evolving so they
Yeah.
have the skills they need to compete out in society as well. Yeah.
All right. Anything else you want to add?
It's an honor to be a part of a school system and represent the Okemos schools, a school system that has the students we have. I'm really proud of the diversity we have in Okemos.
I was surprised to hear
yeah.
number 68.
68.
Did that surprise you? Or
It did not surprise me. There's a lot of misconceptions about the diversity in Okemos.
there are.
And who are our students and who our community is. And I'm really proud of the equity work that we're doing. We have an equity plan where we are truly trying to address the needs of all of our students in a very broad sense of diversity, not just based on race, but including race, religion, sexual orientation, gender identity and expression, socioeconomic status, and more, where we're trying to take ourselves to the next level and make sure that our staff is equipped with the skills to make sure all students feel valued and respected, and that we can help them all develop that trusting relationship that's needed for the learning process to occur. So it's really a point of pride in Okemos, and I think has made a huge difference in where we are and sends the message about where we're going.
Any other challenges or things you're facing into the future?
We do have a bond issue coming up in May.
Oh, okay.
That'll be on the ballot May 7th. There'll be an election. And
What's that for?
That will help with security, transportation, technology, some capital outlay, flexible seating.
Is this a renewal? Is this new?
And also a facility upgrade to Bennett Woods.
Oh.
Adding 4 classrooms and a multi-purpose room.
Really?
Because we're
It's really grown over there.
we are our elementary schools are very full.
Yeah.
We're approaching capacity with a number of the new neighborhoods that have come online.
Yeah.
And with some of our older neighborhoods turning over, people selling their homes. So we'll see how the community weighs in on that.
That's good. It means more students are coming into the area if they're full and
Yeah.
if you're looking to build out a little bit more. That means that because you don't want to drop in student population.
And we did years ago. We're coming out of 10, 15 years ago closing schools. I was
Yeah.
the principal at Edgewood when Edgewood was the first school to close in Okemos, and Wardcliff closed as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then we reconfigured to be more efficient because we had to kind of tighten our belts. And we used to have Kinawa be a 6-7-8 and Chippewa be a 6-7-8, and now Kinawa's a 5-6 and Chippewa's a 7-8. So we really rode the wave of the downturn in the economy and birth rates being down, and it's coming back up now, which is wonderful, but also affords us some challenges we have to work through.
Yeah, I've heard some people talk about, possibly, some parents or people who own some homes possibly opening up Wardcliff. What's it being used for now?
For Wardcliff?
Is it being rented out? Is it being leased
So
out?
Wardcliff is leased out to part of, I believe it's community mental health that has some directed programming for, I don't want to misspeak, but I think some like autism-related services there in part of the building.
So you're bringing in some revenue from that, so that's a good thing for the budget. Okay.
And Wardcliff's a wonderful community. I know East Lansing addresses, but Okemos Public Schools. I was a principal there for 5 years as well.
You were?
I was. So I've made a lot of stops.
When? What year?
2002, I think. 2002-ish. Two. And
my aunt lived across the street from Wardcliff
it's
Elementary.
It's a great community.
Yeah.
And we certainly value our Wardcliff residents. The reason we're proposing building out of Bennett Woods right now is we just don't need a whole school.
Yeah.
Well,
those neighborhoods, at one time, Hewlett Road had nothing.
Yeah.
And then you had Champion Woods, and then College Fields.
Exactly.
And then those other 4 neighborhoods, or whatever they are. There's like 7 new neighborhoods on Hewlett Road alone.
Yeah.
And I remember when the schools came to the township board and said, we need some new residential neighborhoods coming in here. And that's Law Farm then sold off and became a neighborhood.
Yep.
And it certainly helped the school district.
It did.
And the same thing's happening in Hazlet with new neighborhoods, opening up, and I'm sure more will come.
Yeah.
Especially with their ranking too.
And we're based on students or per pupil funded, so we get our allotment per pupil. So the more kids we have, the better. We just want to make sure we have the facilities to accommodate them, so they have a good learning environment as well.
What is your school? Do you know how many school of choice kids you have?
I'd have to look that up, but Okemos has always done a pretty conservative approach to school of choice, because we don't want to be in the position where we have to add staffing because we've added school of choice kids. We try to fill in the gaps where we might have open seats, which has worked very well for us.
Yeah, someone told me that there was a limit on the number of school of choice kids that schools could have, and I had never thought of that before, but it would make sense. I mean, I guess you couldn't just open it up carte blanche too. However, but I don't know how that.
We're required to
works.
advertise a number of openings. We will we'll take K-12, and then districts can take more than they've advertised, but not less.
Okay.
So you'll see advertisements come out in the spring.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else? I swear I won't ask you 20 questions after I ask you anything else.
No, it's a pleasure to be in Okemos, and I'm honored to be the superintendent, and it's a fabulous place to work.
Well, we're glad you're here, and we're
Thanks.
glad that you came out to do this. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
And I want to thank you for watching.